Mic is freaking working. Okay, if I'm gonna move forward, let's full speed, just keep this thing going. As I said in the previous video, I made some tweaks. In between, I just adjusted the brand. It was I think it was Cricket, and actually the brand is surprisingly small. Aside from that, I tweaked the neck slightly, just some slight alterations. From time to time, I look at Dr. Kentaro Miura's work, and just make sure it's that whatever I create is consistent with whatever he did, and this didn't result. And I'm gonna go back and do some other modifications, but those things are going to require me to focus more on really the ink work itself. Hold on, let me put my glasses on here. 1 second. Oh, that's much better. All right, so I'm gonna drop down here to the color layer. I'm gonna open my color picker up, and I'm gonna choose from the selection I have here. And it says hair. Guessing this is Guts' hair. I'm going to choose this black for his base color. I got a better idea. Let's, because I know this is Guts' hair. I'm going to turn it off here. I'm just going to go through. I'm going to make it fairly thick. Alright, so we're on the, actually, I was supposed to do that on the highlight layer. So I got main highlights, main ink, and then main color. I'm going to go on main highlight, and I'm just going to proceed to basically do the strands for his hair or whatever. And yeah, I'll just proceed. Which, by the way, this will make more sense. Really, when you see it complete, you'll get it. You're like, oh, I get it now. A lot of tedium behind this, but this is definitely the good doctor's method to coloring in his hair here. Going to be somewhat scarce with the lower tufts of hair on his head, and then I'll get kind of more depth, or it'll be more dense as I go higher here. But really, the focus is to just get some color in here, and again, it'll make sense in a second here. Ooh, that felt weird. Let me back out there. Yeah. Okay. It'll all work out. It usually works out when I do this. This is actually a new technique I picked up. I actually invented or created this for myself specifically to start doing, because I think it's closer to Dr. Miura's style. And again, it'll make sense in a second here. My freaking recorder, I have a blurb in the way here for my recorder, so I'm just going to slide it down like this so that I can see without my my blurb. It should be invisible to you. I never see it when I play back the videos, but there's definitely a pop-up, like a little thumbnail or a miniature screen that pops up wherever I'm recording that covers up a part of the screen. So I have to slide this down so it's fairly low, just temporarily, but I have to keep it fairly low to actually see the art I'm creating here. But this should look really good. It should be very detailed. In the past, I used to do what I call affectionately Dragon Ball hair, which is when I would just draw basically a teardrop shape, and then it might have a line or even two lines on the teardrop outline, and then that'd be it. And that's what I call Dragon Ball hair. And it's a fairly lazy. I think it's a lazy art style, specifically for when making hair in general. You should always do the hair strand by strand, tuft by tuft. And the reason you do it in that manner is because you never stray from detail when it comes to hair. It's vitally important that you cross your T's and dot your R's. So I try to I always keep that in the back of my mind. The more effort you put forward or towards a project, with the more effort you put towards it, the better the end product, you know. So basically I'm saying work hard. Always work hard. Work hard and drive forward, you know, which is my motto. So I move through life, to be honest. Like nothing can ever, personally, nothing can ever stop me. Like if I ever, if you ever have a point in life where you meet something, typically an obstacle, whether it be a person or even just a situation that occurs, put on your big boy pants or your big girl panties and move forward, you know, just one foot in front of the other. That's the key, in my opinion, to life in general, is you always move. Never be stagnant. And I promise you'll always do better on the next attempt. That's how life works. It's part of being wise, in my opinion. I think that's the core or the essence of wisdom, is you learn from life, you know. Trying to be careful here. I'm trying to focus on making this a lot more dense with more strands towards the upper part of his head. Super important, because most of the color is gonna pop as you go higher away from his neck. It'll make sense when I fill in the black background for the hair. But it's important that I pretty much knock these highlights out before I move forward. Highlights are always priority, only because it's the thing that can cause confusion. Sometimes when you have an ink outline of anything and you know for a fact you're gonna color that thing black, never go forward with the coloring of the black. Always do whatever you need done inside of the black prior to. Otherwise you can cause like crazy headache for yourself. Like for me personally, for instance, I'm gonna have to animate this. And when I animate it, it's gonna be a freaking nightmare if I didn't do this first and just follow this method of putting the strands. So this will pay off. It'll definitely pay off. That was very tedious to do this. I can tell, probably like oh boy hair. But when you look at the end product, you get this good feeling from seeing this completed. That you can't describe it. You really can't. It goes without saying. But as you can see, once it's done, it's gonna be beautiful, man. It's gonna be a masterpiece. I'm gonna kind of arc that in there. Like that. Gives it a little bit of separation. This black outlining for the hair is gonna be barely noticeable, by the way. But in that same breath, it's a good template or blueprint for these grays that I'm throwing in here, for separating them. When you see the end result, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. But it's just the sole purpose of inking, specifically in the hair, given this is based on a manga, is to just provide that outline. The outline is really priority, especially when you're doing hair, because sometimes, well, a lot of times in a manga when they're making hair, especially someone with a dark hair color, it's usually black. It'll be, the hair will be pitch black, so there won't be any outlining, which is why it's important to do this first, because it gives you a very solid mental picture for what you're trying to do here. And I think it's vitally important, So yeah, just sticking to it. Again, I gotta make sure it's super thick up top. Otherwise, it's not really gonna look right here. And I also try to have a point that all of the hairs are derived from. That's vital to making this accurate or doing this properly, really. And this is the end result. Which is gotta say, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful end result here so far. I can already see the finished product in my head for this. It's looking good. Gotta remember not to go too thick down here. I keep doing that. Like, undo. Missing my pattern too. Pattern is very important. It's gonna get kind of messy down here if I don't have an established like teardrop shape. Really, it's more like an upside down teardrop, but you get what I'm saying? If I don't have the proper shape, it's not gonna look right. Okay. Alright. I think that's it. Looks like everything there. Oof. Okay. Sorry, I'm just making sure there's no missing hair or any gaps in here. Alright. Checking up top. Just making sure it's dense. Alright. Need thick grays. The higher it goes. It'll make sense here in a second. Alright, so that looks fine. That looks good. Move it back up like this. Let's do the outlining. It'll go down to main color. Actually, let's turn on the color picker. Let's go to the base hair. Turn that back off. Go back down to main. Just like that. Let's get a pretty thick brush here. And I'm on the main layer already. So I should be able to create a perimeter for the hair here. Shouldn't be too tough. Okay. And just try my best to, it's pre-K all over again. Just try your best to stay inside the line. It's on a different layer, not the same layer. So that means it's not reading what's on the layer above it. And I have to keep that in mind for when I try to use the fill tool. And given I'm putting black on top of black, it's really easy for me to get confused here. And really to, think I'm looking at something that I'm not. I.e., the perimeter could be broken. And then when I use the fill tool, it'll fill in the entire screen. Which is a common thing. Not thing, but a common mistake that I tend to make. Because I can be haphazard. Not sure if I'm haphazard or if it's a sense of brevity or if the feeling of completion causes me to kind of miss stuff. But yeah, that could be dangerous, man. You just gotta avoid having breaks for the fill tool, which you'll see in a second here. The fill tool is becoming my best friend. That's a little too thin out there. I'm going to use a smaller brush there for that tip. Then I forgot to fill in. This one's, that was cutting it close. I legitimately can't really see there. I'm just going to scribble the line up here. Okay. Alright, and that should be, the hair should be good. Now I'm going to move down and I'm going to, let's open up the color picker. What we have here, skin. Yeah, let's do the skin. Let's just do it while we're here. So the main color for the skin, I'm gonna, because I just did the hair perimeter, I should be able to just trace it up here until I actually touch the hair. Try to keep in mind there's also a black outlining for the hair too that I can kind of, be a little lax with while I'm trimming here. but I also have to be careful not to overlap, the black that I just created too, in regards to the actual color layer opposing to the ink. But this should be a no-brainer here, or rather this should be pretty simple for me to do. And all the mistakes that I made here, where I kind of overlapped into the color, it's not a big deal. So I can just retrim it. And I can also go back and use that, that smaller brush that I mentioned earlier that I have to use here on the right, where I'm currently coloring for that tuft. So I'll just do a quick trim here. Even though I know I'm not fully really using this color here. It's more temporary, if anything. Because I do plan to, I'll go back and modify it in a second here. Because it'll be like this, like all of this right here will be more like shading on the side of his neck. All this scribble scrabble, and then uh, it'd be something like this. I know Miura's style, Dr. Miura. I know his style, and it'll like come out like this. He'd have like an indentation on his neck or whatever, and then whatever is in between here would just be a different color. So that's I think that part's good. Now open up the color picker. What's next? Let's do the weapon. Close that out. Jump back down to the main color. I can keep this thick brush, this wildly thick brush. And then, ooh, I forgot to tweak the hair. Mistakes I just made. I'll do a quick perimeter here. I gotta go back. I gotta get back to that hair in a second. And then, actually, all of this is the weapon. Yeah. All this is the weapon. So I can just do a quick, just do like this. Let's get in closer. So that I'm not, mistakenly moving outside of the ink. And a fun tip here is the closer you are to the layer itself when doing something like this, the better it is for when you zoom out. Because it's not going to play this close. So it's not really a big deal if you make certain mistakes. Okay, so that's the weapon. That's what I'm choosing to do for the weapon now. And for the weapon, it'll be something like all this would be dark. All of that'll be dark. It wouldn't even be much of a perimeter. I'm assuming this is the darkest color, by the way. May not be. And then I'd fill this in too. And then this would have just like a miniature trim there. You'd of course have, sorry, I'm looking at where the light is hitting. You still have a shadow though. There'd be a shadow right here. Be like that. Actually more angular. So the Dragon Slayer would have his little shadow here. Like this. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I wouldn't thicken it like that while I did that. Maybe definitely be more straight. Like that. And then whatever's on the inside of this perimeter I created, it'd be a lighter tone. Then I'll open up the color picker here, and I'll probably do, I will do, let's do the armor next, which is gonna be tricky. So sorry about that, I hit the mic. So for the armor, all of this is cloak. Everything over the Dragon Slayer pretty much is cloak. But I'm on the wrong layer. For the main color or the armor, it would have pretty much the teeth. So I do something like this just to highlight the teeth on the armor there. Maybe it just be like that, something simple. just so you can tell that it's there, And yeah, it'd be something like that. I just fill it in later, and then I probably wouldn't even fill it in with the same color. So I'd make it be like partially thick like that, and this would be partially thick too, something like that. The rest of this would be black. So that's really the main focus there. At the most, what I do is probably just trim it. I'll show you what I mean. And this is actually for the armor itself. So I'm gonna showcase here. I do a quick trim here. It's just a nice black outline. And this actually, in fairness, teaches me where I have opportunity to do some light work. Basically, it teaches me opportunity to add light reflection from time to time, which I'll showcase in a second. You'll get it when I get around to it. But like right here, with this line I'm making here, I could do some trim work and have like a thin layer of a lighter color going. Really, what I'm doing is I'm doing a perimeter first and foremost, but I'm also sharpening up the gray, sharpening the gray up. Looks more looks sharper, looks more menacing to be in that way. And I purposely left this the ends like this. I'm gonna do something, which is actually no, that was a bad idea. Sorry, my brain. I'm trying to determine like where's the light hitting this. It'll be from up top, so it'll be more like this, maybe like that. And this is assuredly this is the bottom, so this will just be black anyway. So I don't really care. Yeah, even more like that. And then the inner part. And I'm gonna go back and add some pretty heavy ink work to this. So I'll do my little color tweaks later too. But it's gonna have like slightly heavier ink work going on. But for the most part, this is pretty satisfying for me. Ugh, kind of broke into the neck there by mistake. I felt that was dumb. Let's uh-oh. Let's get the right color first. Let's see if I can find the line here. Okay, I see it. Alright. Let's go back. Let's finish sharpening this up here. Okay. Alright, trying to mimic the trying to mimic the other side to make it similar to the way it looks or whatever. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't care about that. Let's I want it similar though. I don't care about that. It's doing what I call leaking for well, I'll fix it here. I don't like when I have like leaking or spillage of the colors I just made. So I just do this. That's actually fine. It's been bothering me all the time. I really don't like that. Okay. And we're good. Alright. That actually looked fine. Let's go smaller with the brush. Okay. Alright, let's bump it back up. 16. I guess I had on 16. Finish the complete fill there for the hair. Let's go do a complete fill here. Let's go to the color picker, gut skin. He has the darkest layer on right now, so I'm going to use the second darkest layer. Then we're going to go back to the main color, drop that in there. Then I'm going to go back to the color picker here, pick the second lightest color, drop down to the main color again, and I'm just gonna create my own perimeter here. But I'm gonna be very choosy with the way I choose to do this, which you'll get in a second here. Alright. Because he's got a musculature that you seriously have to be familiar with the musculature on specifically on his neck, because there's a method to Dr. Miura's madness when he does things, and there's certain things that I've noticed specifically about his art style that I'd like to say I picked up on. So for the neck, that's mostly it. I actually feed it into it like this, and just take it all the way down, or whatever, maybe like that. And same thing over here too. Focusing more on the break on the outer right, and then color that in, so it'd be like that. And so we got the hair. I see something I missed up there too, which is not a big deal. Let's turn this color picker off. It's bothering me. Alright, something I missed, which was his ear. So I'll just do a quick perimeter here, being wary of the black outline for the hair I have drawn in already. Do a perimeter 2 on the far right over here. Again, being wary or aware. Okay. And there we go. Let's trace the bottom of the ear there for the shadowing below the cartilage. I'll gotta pick a color, so I'm gonna pick second darkest for the bottom of the ear. Then I'm gonna pick the most light, second most light really, and that'll be the top. That's the end result. Yeah, that was questionable. Whatever. Alright, that's good. And let me fix this issue that I have here. Sorry, I'm scratching my ear. Just this on the far right next to the ear. Alright, so we got most of the shading done there. Let's open up the color layer. Let's go to armor. I'm gonna pick the second lightest tone for the armor there. Go back to the main color. I'm gonna do a simple fill. Okay, that actually shouldn't be that light. Again, let's try this twice. Simple fill. There you go. That's better. God dang it. Hold on, I'm inspecting here. Oh, I'm just filling. Am I filling in the wrong spot? Or am I confused about the break? Let me see. I gotta be confused here. Put a little black there. Put a little black here. Now let's try it out. With the right color, of course. Do the color picker. Do a quick drop. God dang it, I missed it. You know what? Oh, I see the other break. Sorry, I'm getting that. You have no idea how much it like agitates me sometimes, or irritates me. Okay, let's just zoom in. Screw it. So I can be spot on. So I can actually see the reticle. Which, by the way, the reticle should be invisible to you. But there's a reticle that shows it's a plus shaped reticle that pops up. Okay, let's go back. Let me focus here more so on the weapon again. I'm gonna use the second lightest tone for the weapon specifically. Close it out, drop the color. Okay, like that. And then for the third most tone, open up the color picker, pick the second tone, which is faint, but it's noticeable. But for this, I'm probably gonna do the trimming. There's no problem. I am going to do the trimming here, right under where the cloak hits, because it makes sense. I'll leave a little bit of light on the corner piece underneath the cloak on the right side of the bolt. Then I do a fill. Crap. So I gotta do this old-fashioned way. Colors are too close to each other, so I have to manually put the color in here, which ain't a big deal. So, okay. It gives me luxury of being able to do some texture in here too. Okay. So we're moving on. I just noticed that I can feel it now, but I just noticed the corner over here, black in color. There we go. Alright, no biggie. No biggie. Alright, so what's next? Let's finish this weapon up. Oh man, look at the time. Yeah, let's finish this weapon. Weapon, blah blah blah. What's the handle? This is Guts' weapon. I know the material. This is a flesh tone color. I think it's this. I'm gonna say this is the weapon color, rather the handle. Go down the color. It's gotta be the handle, man. Yeah, I'm gonna just try it out. Maybe it don't hurt. Can't think of anything else on the weapon that would be this white outside of the blade on the weapon. This is an odd color. So I'll just use it for now, and then if I have an issue with it later or whatever, I'll make the change needed. Yeah, but I'll stick to this right now. And let's fill it. Okay. Go back to the color picker. It's gotta be these grays over here, man. I'm just gonna, you know what, forget it. I'm just use these grays. I just like them better. Go back up to the color picker. We're gonna go darker here. Main color. And then I'm gonna be a little messy here, but kind of have to be for the look I'm going for. So I'm just gonna messily, make this little trim here. And the same for the other side, like so. Okay. Alright. That works. Yeah, that works. I don't mind the light or whatever on the far right, because when I go back to the color layer, pick an even darker tone, and I'm just gonna do a slight trim on the outside here. Very slight, like this, and then I'll leave a little bit of light up top to show that it's no longer behind his neck. Jump back to the color picker, go to his armor, go down to the main color layer here. All of this is cloak. All of this is cloak. Okay. Just fill it in. Just fill it all in. As long as I get this perimeter. Also, the color is not too close to the the background color, which is essentially white. So it shouldn't give me any headache when I use the fill tool here. And I can say beforehand, I know the background, it's going to be foliage, but at the same time, the background is going to be the sky is red at the moment for the scene. So I'll just go down to the background layer here. I'll cut on the background color and I'd select red. I'm going to go with the light. Yeah, we do light red for now. And I'll just do a quick fill there just to have a background on it. And then turn off the color picker here. Okay, so that's really the gist of what this scene is going to look like. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so this is really like the the crux or the meat of what this scene looks like here. And again, it's gonna zoom out from a close-up of a bleeding or burning brand into this, which is the just essentially just the scene, itself. So in the next video, I'm actually going to go ahead and knock out, which is really the fun part. Well, it's fun for you guys to look at. We're going to knock out the fun part, which is completing the cross hatching or the more intricate ink work. But yeah, this is Berserk. This is the manga. I'm going to complete it. It's created by Dr. Kentaro Miura. The guy unfortunately died before he could complete it. Rest in peace. But, it was good stuff, and I want to see it completed. Without the not a fan of what the studio that took over his work is doing, to be honest. Hell, they're even on hiatus at the moment too. They haven't been releasing any issues for him. But in the next video should just be a bunch of ink work and cross hatching. This video is really long. That's pretty much it. Make sure I save it here before I get out of here. God bless.